Good morning, Umarani ji. Good morning. Yes, Ru Rajan.
Good morning, ma'am.
I hope I'm correctly pronouncing your name. Yes, Ru Rajan, right? Am I correctly pronouncing it? Good morning, Sanskriti. So those who can switch their cameras on, please switch your cameras. Good morning, Rajendra ji.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you?
Fine, I'm fine.
Okay.
पूरा स्ट्रेस करिए बैठ सिर्फ गर्दन लेके जाइए
All right. We'll begin the session. So those who are sitting and those who are standing as well. So be calm and join your palms together to the center and gently close your eyes. Breathe in deeply and breathe out. Once again, breathe in deeply and breathe out. Let's begin with the Om chanting followed with the opening prayer. Om. Sahana bhavatu. सहनो भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 Take your palms together and generate heat. Place the palms on your eyes and all over to your face. Bring the palms in front of you. Open your eyes. Look at your palms with a gentle smile on your face. Namaste and welcome in 200 hours of, welcome in the Yoga Volunteer Program. So those who wants to switch their cameras on, please switch your cameras. Switch your cameras on, please. Rajendra, Neelam, Sanskriti, can you please switch your cameras on? Huh. All right. Let's begin today's session. Okay, I think some few people have not joined. Jay Sathji has not joined, right? Krishji has not joined. Krishji, I think, attends the evening class and not the morning class. It is only the Jay Sathji who has not joined. Okay. All right. So, what was the topic yesterday? Can you let me know? Anybody? You can unmute.
And history of yoga, why
Hmm.
yoga is important,
Hmm.
why our body, peace of mind, and
Hmm.
those things, self-inquiry, what is the requirement of the peace, how we
Hmm.
grow. Uh, Actually, basically, yoga is our lifestyle, like that, and the Patanjali Yoga Sutra,
Hmm.
Yama Niyamas, that kind of the yoga basics.
All right.
And the main thing is the oneness, the Atma and Paramatma, how we merge with Paramatma, then why yogic practice is help for that enlightenment process. Why the yoga is important for all beings, and other beings, how they do like that. Yoga is basic, the merging, the oneness.
Correct. Okay. So today I had to let me see the syllabus has- I had okay. It was about the schools of yoga, right? So the various uh, kind of how we are able to you have the different uh, uh, schools of yoga or the framework like in which the yoga teachings are taken, like how the yoga teachings are done, whether it's the practical or whether it's the like your own having the knowledge of the yoga practice. So yoga is basically seen as just a minute. Okay. So yoga is systematically dealing with all the levels of one being. So one is taken as your yoga, which is taken from the various texts, and it is seen as your yoga philosophies. You must have heard of Sankhya Yoga. Okay. Sankhya Yoga, Vedanta, right? There is the Visheshika, Nyaya, Mimamsa. So all of these are basically the schools which has their own teachings. So if you're taking certain practical methods in the yoga practices, it is having and striving for the experiencing that how you're able to have attained the awareness towards yourself. And these are described in various texts like the Yoga Sutras. Okay. Now, seeing your inner state. What is your mental state? What is your inner state? So as to have that all beyond and connect and having that oneness, that is given in the yoga. Okay. So if I talk about specifically the Sankhya philosophy, so the Sankhya philosophy has the best level of including from subtlest, if you are the subtle, from the gross to the subtlest. So from the gross level, which is our body, and to the subtle level, which is like which has its every what we say, have every sort of an avastha is awakened, everything which is awakened and being the whole universe. So from the grossest to the subtlest, it talks about that. So having literally means it explains what is the whole. The whole means the Prakriti, which is dealing with the Prakriti, the Purusha, and Buddhi, that is the intelligence, Ahamkara, okay, and the three gunas. So having all of that, when you are having the Prakriti, how the Prakriti is, how the Prakriti has been, have some sort of ways of working. The Prakriti is having, we are having some relation with the Prakriti, and accordingly, the Prakriti has its own way to work for every being. So there is a matter which is the Prakriti. There is a Purusha, which is the our own consciousness, Purusha. There is the intellect, the Buddhi that is there with us. The Buddhi is there. There is the I am, Ahamkar. Okay. There is the three gunas, which is the elements of stability, activity, and lightness. If you're able to have some lightness means you feel better and relaxed. Lightness means not being, you are free, you're finding that freedom, you have that liberation. Okay. So at the time you're stable, having that stability, having the activity as well, and having that lightness to have that freedom. All of these are the elements. So mind, it talks about the mind as well, which is the manaha, okay, or the cognitive and the active senses, that is the indriyas. You have the indriyas which are really active, and if that works really actively, then what happens? The self-control will be lesser. In that way, that activity or the active senses or the indriyas requires some sort of, that how you are dealing with those indriyas as well. It talks about the indriyas, it talks about all the elements of earth, water, fire, air, and space. And we are all made up of all of this. So this is there in the Prakriti, right? So our body, our mind, our intellect is all the working of the Prakriti, which works with our own self as well. And the Prakriti helps in attaining that balance within the body and the mind. And the Prakriti also helps to attain that higher level, right? So to have our good consciousness and to attain that subtleness within us and get settled. Like we are having that stability with our own self. Okay. Then in this thing, you'll be finding that the Sankhya philosophy, all of these things is all about that what do you what are the levels of your own existence. So people who are at the grossest level, so there at the grossest level will have their existence from the physical aspect, right? Now indriyas will be working accordingly, there will be the control or lesser control over the indriyas accordingly. and the person who has the has that from the good, like when it becomes to the subtle level, they have their own like their own levels of the mental state, and that mental state works according to the prakriti. So from the grossest level to come to a subtle level, it is important to have the self control. It is important to have, your senses, your indriyas, to have the control, and then gain your cognitive abilities, attaining the stable and the active mind, having the Purusha, like your Purusha and the Prakriti, how you're able to have that, uh, you know, understanding your own consciousness with the Prakriti. And anything which works against the Prakriti will have the effect on the Purusha, like your consciousness. It will uh, create the instability. Okay, it will affect the entire elements, the elements that we have. It has the reaction altogether, the water, the air element, right, the fire and the space as well. So accordingly, the body, the grossest level will be affected. So when it's good to have your own self control to work at the grossest level as well, to have a balanced body, and then from the grossest level, when you are able to stabilize yourself with the help of the control in the Indriyas, it will help to stabilize yourself to the subtle level as well. Okay, so that is the Sankhya philosophy, which is being given as one of the uh, that the yoga practices. It talks about the different things, the different elements. Having said about the Vedanta philosophy, so Vedanta philosophy is another philosophy which provides having the path to self realization, understanding our true nature. Earlier I had taken in the previous class about knowing our true self. The true self is known by, which is given in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras as well. So this particular thing, this Vedanta philosophy also talks about or tells us that it is the self-inquiry or having the self-realization to one's true nature, right? And now something which is not you know the to the grossest level, anybody can, the person can have the decaying or the death, one can have that. But to the subtle level, if you know your true self, that never dies, that is there. So, a major key of the practices of having these contemplations taken in these books. So, these books are given, the books of Upanishads are given. Okay, so some of the good sources, or the sources of from which the yoga has been taken, these are the schools, the philosophies which talks about it. So the having taken the English translation, all of these, which is given in the Shankaracharya ji, so that has given all the Vedic it has given some good things about the Vedic translation, sorry, the English translation of the Vedantic meditation, which is given by Shri Adi Shankaracharya ji, right? Next is the Vaisheshika. Vaisheshika is all the physical sciences. So having seen that it is including the elements, there is some sort of the sciences which is working in the earth element, the water element, the fire element, the air element, the space, the time, the mind, and the soul. So the Prakriti works at the different time. The mind, according to the Prakriti, is working, and there is some sort of when you are seeing that the system how it is being developed. Okay, and that system is emphasizing on the physical sciences, right? That is there, and that is how your mind, time, and the soul is having all the elements balanced together, right? Next is the Nyaya philosophy, which is about the reasoning. Okay, so reasoning is something which is given you, and that reasoning or the process of the reasoning, which is the reasoning comes with certain doubt as well as a prerequisite, which is given in the philosophical inquiry. So some sort of the philosophy, when there would be certain critics as well, you'll find in the philosophy there will be the people who have certain questions about the philosophies, as some sort of the schools and the philosophies and the systems as well. So similarly, Nyaya philosophy is having the system which is founded by ancient sage Gautama. Okay, and it is dealing with the logic. It is dealing with the process of reasoning, and the doubt is considered as a prerequisite for the philosophical inquiry. So something when you give about the Indian philosophy, there is it is very much seen that there would be certain doubts or the certain inquiries. But that the other systems would be there who's having that Indian philosophy have that kind of that the way that how this process can be again can be implemented. The other systems has that these process the way they have given their own philosophy how that can be implemented. But in the reasoning, of course, reasoning comes with some sort of like there would be some reasoning with certain it is dealing with logic, it is dealing with this inquiry. So there would be self inquiry as well. Self inquiry means if you have certain things that it is given to you, so you have your own ways of attaining and knowing about it. You have some reasoning which is known about it. So that is how it is. Everything is systematized in such a way that your own, because the mind is created in such a way that it has certain state, it has a state of reasoning as well, it has a state of logic as well. And similarly when one achieves that one sorry, when one has that, so this particular philosophy, which is dealing with all of those reasoning and everything, it is giving along with the other systems, it is drawing you to that process that your answers should be when you are getting into the practice, your answers should be completely solved. That is one of the schools of yoga which talks about. Another is the Mimamsa philosophy. That is the freedom through action. So it is like, it is not that you are liberated from the mind and you do not need to do anything. The action is very important. Action means what? The karma. So that everything, whether it's the whether if we talk about anything that is required to be done, and whatever is your duty, that what we say it as a duty or somebody says it as their own perspective at a particular point in time, what is required to be done by a person. So at that time, that action which is being founded by that Gemini. So that Mimamsa system was founded by the Gemini, and it has given the freedom through the action. That when you are doing the actions, you are finding your freedom in that only. So some people can have, if for example, for an instance, the people can have have that thing that while doing the work or they are doing the action, they feel not, they are feeling that that they are being confined or constrained. But when you're doing any action, it could be anything, whether it's like you are sitting in meditation, that is also an action. Whether you are working on your breath, that is also an action. So for some people the yogic practices can be really boring, but for some people it is like that those practices, those things that when you come into action with that, that brings that brings the freedom to them. So depends upon that own way. But the Mimamsa philosophy, the Mimamsa philosophy of karma is talking about that whether it is related to your rituals, whether it is related to your worship, whether it is related to your way of having your action, the way you have the practices, like if even you are doing the asanas, if you're doing the pranayams. So having that freedom through action in your own self, so that is the detailed philosophy, Mimamsa philosophy, whether it's related to any of these aspects that I have told you, the rituals, the worship, the action as in the what you do with your own way through uh, the the entire the things that you do in the day-to-day life as well. So that is also that freedom comes from action. So it talks about that philosophy, right? So with that, now what happens if we see all of these implementation of these philosophies, right? It is giving you a good insight about knowing yourself. These philosophies, these Indian philosophies, which is telling each and every philosophy, whether it's the reasoning, whether it's your, the all of these philosophies, it is taking you to a know your practices, know yourself better, and have some sort of, like a knowing that what is the way of your leading your life, and having that yoga practices which is being taken through these systems, it is making you more stronger, and with that strongness your ability to gain that higher truth, and ability to understand the higher truth. Higher truth is what? Higher truth is, of course, the one and the universal form, the creator, or the Paramatmana. So, with that, your strongness and your way of attaining that purity, uh, 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 like is coming, and it that purity is imbibed, and similarly the way of having that oneness is also attained. So all of these philosophies, these Indian philosophies, helps us in knowing the basics of us, and how we are able to attain that realization, and with that how we attain towards the higher self, and how we attain that freedom, and what is the mental state where you are able to attain your the freedom through action. And you must have heard of one particular Patanjali Yoga Sutras shloka, yogas karmasu kaushalam. So whenever any of the action is being done, the yoga is making every action which is done very skillfully. Skillfully means that there is in Hindi it will be saying that कार्य में कुशलता जो आती है वो योग के थ्रू आती है। तो आपके जितने भी कार्य होते हैं उसमें कुशलता आती है। कुशलता मीन्स कि आप में एक फ्रीडम होती है एक्शन, मतलब व्हेन यू आर डूइंग एनीथिंग, तो आपके योग के माध्यम से आपके कार्यों में बहुत सरलता आती है। उस सरलता से क्या होता है कि आप एक फ्रीडम भी अटेन करते हैं। तो आपके लिए कुछ ऐसा नहीं लगता दैट यू आर बीइंग ओवरबर्डन्ड। ओके, सो फ्रॉम द प्रैक्टिकल सिनेरियो, अगर आपको ये लगेगा कि आप यू आर बीइंग गिवन टू मच ऑफ वर्क, just for an instance, so it is not like that. You attain that freedom at a point in time when you understand your own abilities, you understand your own truthfulness, that what you're being true to, what you're being dedicated to, what you're being devoted to। ठीक है, जब आपको अपना डिवोशन, अब डिवोशन could be in any way, people have their devotion in some or the other thing। Devotion can be in any of the thing, devotion can be in the exercise that one any person does, devotion can be in any of the yoga practices, devotion or the dedication can be in a form of your, people study a lot, like having that self study that they do, and they have that dedication and devotion in that. So people find all of that freedom in that action as well. So you understand your true self, and when you find your true self, the people who are doing the yogic practices, so this is just for a very small instance that I have given. So when in the yogic practice, you find your true self, just like the layers, just like so many levels of existence you have, you find your levels of existence continuously with your yogic practices each and every day. You'll find that each and every day you have your own, you had created your own doubts, or you had created your own practices in such a way, or maybe due to the surroundings, what had been taught and what had been perceived by you, that is different. So in that way your levels or your layers gets some sort of impurity. So to have that purity, It is important to reason. It is important to have the doubts. It is important to study. It is important to clear the doubts. It is important to, keep on to have that self control within you, to have the freedom in your action. So these Indian philosophies, when taken into this yoga practices, when taken from the practical aspect, is really really good to implement, where you understand your own existence, whether in the physical existence, whether it is the existence of subtle your own subtleness. You understand that your true self is your subtle body. Okay, and that subtle, or the when you reach from the gross level to the subtle level through your yogic practices, through your pranayams as well, when you reach to the subtle level, you have an existence where you do not need to control anything. You yourself do not control anything, but you attain that state where nothing gets affected, and you're doing your karya, or your actions in such a way which becomes really lighter. You do not need to worry about anything, that you need to work on your mental capabilities. It's not like that. When you reach to the subtlest level, you will be able to attain your ability to have a state, or the avastha, where you can do your abhyasa well. You can be consistent with your yogic practices, and also be present in the time where you are, at the present moment. If you're there, if at the present time you are there, you will be attaining the level which is, you are at the bliss, you are at a happy state, you are at the state where you have an understanding of yourself to the subtlest level, and without having any kind of no thoughtlessness, I mean, like thoughtlessness kind of thing, no thought state, right? So all of these philosophies are directed towards leading you to what? To the absolute. That is important. Okay, now, there are certain approaches, the approaches that are being taken. Approach as in mean that how the yogic philosophy. So now we have the different yogas that has come up. We have Hatha Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Vinyasa. We have heard of Power Yoga as well. So these yoga. Now, if one person is devoted to a particular yogic practices, according to that what practice they are doing, and it could be that to to have a better, to have a some sort of experiences that is coming, that in any of the practices. So having followed any of the yogic practices, so that aim should be that you are having your absolute reality, your absolute self. You're attaining your absolute self, whether from the physical aspect, or from your mental aspect, or from attaining that balance of your spirituality. Okay, so that is the main aim of it. Now, the approaches which is being followed, so that approaches could be your approach towards the karma. Like, what is the approach? What is the perspective when you are doing your yogic practices? It is like it is also the action, it is also the karma that you are doing. Anything that you do, you find the freedom. So some people might be thinking that if they do the yoga, if they are the beginners, they find that it is painful. They will leave the yoga practices. That is their own perspective about the yoga practices. But somebody who will be thinking that I'm facing really a lot of challenges while doing the yoga practices, that is also one of the approach of a person, that how they are taking their yoga practices despite it is being challenging, what it will lead them through. It will lead them through some transformation. It will lead them through some sort of the awareness of themselves, and lead them towards the, it is giving them some it's a good learning about yourself, and reaching to the consciousness which requires to know our higher self, and towards knowing that once we are able to have that self control of the stability of the body and the mind, so how we are able to continuously work on that, and we need to say that we are knowing our absolute reality, and it is the experience that we are gaining day by day. So that could be one of the approach of a person. So there is one of the approach is as the bhakti. Okay. So when you are talking about the various schools or the various philosophies, their approaches could be the bhakti as well. Bhakti as in it is not that the it is like it becomes a ritual for a person. The yoga practices becomes a ritual. Ritual as in I would say that it's a kind of a thing that you cannot leave. Like the yoga practices become such like that. So if I talk about the different perspective of a person, there comes that you must have seen there is the bhakti yoga, the jnana yoga, the karma yoga, and the raj yoga. So these are the approaches, and accordingly, if you see the bhakti, there comes the mantra. So the mantras which is given in the Hatha yoga. So with that bhakti, you can have this mantra as well. You can have the that is called the the nada siddha or the tantra yoga, the meditation, the contemplation, okay, the prayer, the unified force which is leading towards the final wisdom, okay, which is called the absolute truth, which is called the bindu is what, when you do some sort of the meditation and having the wisdom which is coming within you. So all of that comes from what? It is all the approaches with the mantra, with the siddha. What is the what did you siddha, and what are the meditation, the contemplation, the prayer, the hymns, and everything. So all of that wisdoms comes with that and leading to the absolute truth. So these are the approaches, and in the practical scenario, what your approaches are and how do you approach, what are your perspective towards your attaining your higher joy. That is basically the goal or the aim of any of the yogic practices, or even if you have that self realization in any of the freedom in action as well. That is also the approach. What is the approach of your own self? That is important to see. So if you take it, you are overburdening in any of the thing, whether it's just a simplest thing that you think that it is being, overburdening. So that doesn't come into action. You are not free from action. Your approach is different. So having that attaining that joy, that happiness, that will not be coming. So your experience becomes more better when you have the oneness with you, so that oneness will lead to more having the understanding about yourself, and your work is with you, and how you are able to have that oneness with knowing your absolute thing, your absolute knowing about yourself, and how you are having that connecting with the absolute truth, okay, the oneness with the supreme being. So if you are able to do that as a as in the way of your doing, you will attain that freedom, okay. Everything you attain, everything you do, if you are having, I told you about one of the all the eight limbs of yoga, but I did not tell you about one of the limbs of yoga, that is ishwar pranidhan. So Ishvara Pranidhan is surrendering to God. If any of the practices, which I will not say like any of the thing that is there in your action, anything is your approach. It could be any of the approaches, whether you are whether you from a a medical practitioner could be there, the yoga practitioners could be there, it could be the gym trainers could be there, it could be any of the health and the fitness trainers are there, the health advisors are there, the consultants are there, right? All the people who are uh, having their own ways. So having that Ishvara Pranidhan, if they do that, they are having that connecting, and they're having that way of attaining that wisdom. After doing everything, they gain that freedom in action, having the Ishwar Pranidhan, right? Anything? Okay, I missed out some message. Okay, Jay Sath ji had joined earlier. Good morning. Okay, Vijay Sath. Good morning, Vijay ji. Good morning, Vijay. 。 . 。 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 All right. So with this, the schools of the yoga practices, I have covered few of them. So anything uh, that you want to ask, or anything that you want to add? Okay, so shall I go ahead? So I will be taking the next like about the eating or the diet. Okay, okay, the yogic diet.
Okay, ma'am.
There are the three types of diets that we have. Okay, when we talk about the diet, the food basically. So the food is of three types, are of three types. That is the sattvic food, the rajasic food, and the tamasic food. So any person who takes a sattvic food, it's not like the vegetables that you are getting. It is not like any food which is a sattvic one, which has the uh, like the properties or the characteristics like that. These food has the nutrition, has a nutritional value, and has a good sattvikta, the purity. हाँ, तो एक हमारे तीन प्रकार के जो हैं आहार होते हैं। सात्विक फूड, एक सात्विक खाना होता है, राजसिक खाना होता है और तामसिक खाना होता है। ठीक है, एक राजसिक फूड, तामसिक फूड एंड राजसिक फूड। आपके जैसे एक्शंस होंगे, आपका जो जैसे आहार होता है वैसे ही आपका एक्शंस भी होते हैं। सो अगर आप आहार अच्छा लेते हैं, उसी आप आपके आहार के थ्रू आपका मिथ्याहार होता है, आपका रूटीन होता है, आपका एक्शंस होते हैं। सो सपोज इफ अ पर्सन इज नॉट एबल टू हैव देयर मील, अगर किसी का भी कोई फूड नहीं होता, सो मतलब इफ यू आर नॉट टेकिंग एनी फूड, you do not get time at any point in time ki you will be able to have food. So in that way, your balance of your mind and body will be again different. If you're taking more and more of, अगर आप ज्यादा से ज्यादा तामसिक फूड लेते हैं, people who can take, who had the alcohol, people who take who you know just maybe having the chicken, they can eat the non-vegetarian food. So according to that, your yoga practices will be affected in that way. ठीक है, आपकी योगा प्रैक्टिसेस में आपका बैलेंस ऑफ माइंड एंड बॉडी जो है वो इफेक्ट होगा, एंड इट विल कम टू योर एक्शंस एज वेल. It will affect your there is a kind of how your mental abilities are, so that will be affected. If it is your rajasic food, the rajasic food could be your packaged food as well, the homemade food as well. The rajasic food can be anything which is not really healthy, but it is a meal. आपका जो राजसिक फूड होगा, वो ऐसा कोई आप ऐसा मील देखेंगे कि पैकेज्ड फूड होगा, पैकेज्ड आइटम्स होंगी, बट देन येट अगेन इट इज जस्ट टू fill your stomach and you are just doing your day to day एक्टिविटीज. तो आपके आपके शरीर को जो खाना मिलेगा, वो राजसिक फूड आप वैसे दे सकते हैं खुद को, तो वो एक राजसिक फूड होगा. तामसिक इज येट अगेन इट इज नॉट बेनिफिटिंग either your body or your mind. So tamasic food tamasic food is not either benefiting your mind and body, but rajasic food is giving something to your body. But having the sattvic food which you will be having, आपका अगर सात्विक आहार होगा तो सात्विक आहार आपका आपके सोल पे हेल्प करेगा, आपके आपका डीपर कनेक्शन, आपका माइंड बॉडी बैलेंस बेटर होगा. राइट. सो जैसे in the very first class I had talked about the diet. So are we having all of these good, even the healthy food? The person who is sattvic as well, are we getting the healthy food these days? We are not getting the healthy food these days as well. You'll find that so many things, बहुत सारे ऐसे आप देखेंगे कि कहीं ना कहीं कोई भी चीज प्योर नहीं है। आप कोई भी खाना खाते हैं तो उसमें कभी ना कभी आपको लगेगा कि आपको वो न्यूट्रिशन नहीं मिल रहा है, आपको वो प्रॉपर हेल्दी डाइट नहीं मिल रही है। तो अगेन, having attained that sattvikta in the food also means a proper, huh. So I think Kashmira has talked about the Rajasic food. So Rajasic food could be any of the packaged things which is not which is something which you are taking it from outside. So अगर आप ये देखें कि आप बाहर से कुछ मंगवाते हैं, ठीक है, there are so many I would from the practical aspect, if you take anything, you order something from outside, so that has also become the Rajasic food. The Rajasic becomes if you are fulfilling your need of the body to have the food, but that has the Rajasic properties. Rajasic properties, as in, it means that the food has, even if you take it from any, like any of the outside sources who are providing the food to you at your home, at your doorstep. So it is also a Rajasic food, whether it can be anything. It is not having any nutritional value. It is not having anything which is having uh, uh, those properties which could have that that mind and body will be balanced. You're having that harmony within you, that will not be there. So sattvic food, that any of the ahar that you take, what are their properties, that depends. So if I compare it with the sattvic food, the rajasic food, tamasic is of course is no way benefiting, but if I compare it with the sattvic food, the sattvic food will be helping you to attain a healthier being. Similarly, the Rajasic food, on the other hand, will be not taking you to attain a healthier being. It is just that you are filling yourself or giving yourself a food which is just so as you are get going. So any of the for example, if it is the packaged food, you eat chips, you eat any of the packaged things which is available. The potato chips are there. You will eat some sort of the it would be the, what do we say, that is the, what is it called, the carbonated water, the cold drinks which is there, that is also a rajasic food. It comes in rajasic food. People have the french fries, people have the burger. All of these are the rajasic food. What is the sattvic food? The sattvic food is the vegetables, that you are getting the vegetables with you, the green vegetables, the pulses which are there, the fruits which are there. So all of these are the sattvic food, which is making you lighter. And anything that makes you heavier, like heavier in the way that it is not giving the giving your uh, fulfillment, as in it is not giving you a way to have a lighter self, to have your lightness. So that is not there with the Rajasic food. So more often, if you have that entire day, which is, when you start your day, you have your own sattvikta. You start your day with the sattvikta. Okay, you might be attaining some good thinking at the very beginning of the day. Okay, some good thinkings are there. You have a good thought way, you have a good thought process, you are thinking in a better way, you are thinking of helping others, you think in a good way. But as you see throughout the day, when it comes to the when it is at the time it reaches to the afternoon, what food you are taking, and in what way your thought process becomes. And later half of the day, when you reach to the later half of the day, what happens, the way your ability to think, that again gets changed, because what kind of the food you have taken throughout the day. So your ahar depends or takes you through how you are attaining your own quality. So, if the yogic person needs a quality to practice their abhyasa and vairagya, it completely depends. If your yogic practices are, you need to have your yogic practices good. So, for that, your ahar, your mityahar is important. Mityahar is that how, according to the time, what is the way that you are, your own self, you are regulating yourself in the entire, in the entire day. Okay. And what is your whole routine? Okay. So if you have that satvikta, if you have to attain that satvikta, so how are you taking at the beginning of the day? And if you want till the end of the day, that satvikta should be there. अगर बाहर से सात्विक फूड भी ऑर्डर करें तो क्या वो राजसिक होगा? अगर स्विगी जोमेटो हैज अ सेपरेट सेक्शन, सो वो काउंट होता है. एंड व्हाट अबाउट अनियन एंड गार्लिक एंड मसूर दाल? ओके, सो कश्मीरा हैज अ वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन. तो ऐसा नहीं है, आप अगर कुछ भी लेते हैं तो इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी दैट इट विल बी राजसिक, वो राजसिक ही होगा. इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी. तो अगर आप कुछ हेल्दी फूड भी लेते हैं बाहर से भी, तो वो भी सात्विक, उसमें भी सात्विकता हो सकती है. बिकॉज दीज डेज द फूड इज लाइक, यू टेक इट फ्रॉम, either you make it at home or whether you have some healthy food from outside as well, they can have that rajasic as well, unless and until आपका कोई जो पैकेज्ड होता है जिसमें कोई न्यूट्रिशनल वैल्यू अगर नहीं है, तो वो डेफिनेटली सात्विक नहीं होगा. सात्विक फूड हैज इट्स ओन nutritional value as well. It has its own properties, like it is having that सात्विकता. So जो बाहर से अगर आप लेंगे वो भी सात्विक हो सकता है. और yes, अगर आप it's not necessary, some of the people believe that sattvic food means without onion and garlic and without masoor dal as well. But it is not necessary that it is being considered or categorized that onion and garlic comes in have the tamasic properties. It is it is called as the tamasic food. The onion and garlic is the tamasic food. But yet again, if a person has, if a person is able to have that, that sattvic food which is able to like and masoor dal is also taken as like this. Masoor dal is also called that it is not having the sattvic properties. But if you are if you are suppose outside, you are outside and you are living out of India, what will you do without the onion and garlic? That will be like, without that you cannot do. You have to take it. So again, to maintain your practices, if you're having that food having the sattvic properties as well, so that means you're able to have that, that those sattvic food without any tamasic things. You can, you can see that that is the sattvic food. Onion and garlic and masoor dal has the tamasic properties, right? So if anything which is being taken from outside, if it has the onion, if it has the garlic, so it has some sort of the tamsikta. Okay. But it is not purely sattvic food, I will say. Okay. So if you begin anything, your ahar and your mityahar. So again, I would also add to this particular thing, that if your daily routine is in such a way, again, that you cannot avoid it, right? You are somewhere outside and you have nothing to do. Now everything is available, that you have your food, you cannot do anything, you have no option about it. Then what to do? Again, having attained your own sattvikta and having the food in a way, you are having that mityahar in a sattvic way, that is also fine. Because again, you have certain limitations. You might be having a lesser options, you do not have more options. So with that, again, that is also okay, I will say. But having, according to your question, again I will say, what are the tamasic food, what are the rajasic food, and what is the sattvic food. So when you start your day having a sattvic diet, you are having your sattvikta at a higher level. So with that higher level, you will be having your right consciousness, your better consciousness, right? And as you go throughout the day, what kind of a food you are having. If you want to maintain that sattvikta, that will help you to attain a healthier being, that will help you to have the absolute knowing as well. You will be able to maintain your sattvikta. So according to the ahar, your vichar will be affected. According to your vichar, your action will be affected, right? Similarly, any of the thing, even in your yoga practices, if you're having the right ahar, the correct ahar, so that will be again lead you towards the better practices in your yoga and in the other aspects of your life as well, right? We'll talk more about it, about the diet. I have given just an introduction, like all about it. The very important things that we have discussed about the food, the principles of food. I might be talking more about it tomorrow. And considering all other things in the syllabus, the unit one, that the rest of the topics will be also covered. Okay. Any questions, anyone? No questions? Anything that you want to share your experience or you want to add something? All right. So let me take your attendance, everyone, and then I will end the session with a closing prayer. All right. I've taken the attendance of all of you. Pranayam, I need to see if the pranayams will be practiced. I hopefully think that the pranayams will be also practiced, like just as I will be teaching. So in that way, the pranayams will be also taught, right? Okay. So let's sit comfortably and join your palms together to the center. Close your eyes. Breathe in deeply. Have a gentle smile on your face. Breathe in deeply. Let's continue chanting. Guys, after the prayer, just who is unmuting, please mute yourself. Please settle down. Close your eyes. Breathe in and breathe out. Let's begin with the Om chanting, followed with the closing prayer. Om. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चिद् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्तिः 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 Take your palms together and generate heat. Bring the palms on your eyes and all over to your face. Give the warmth of your palms to your face. Slowly and gently bring the palms in front of you and open your eyes. Look at your palms with a gentle smile on your face. Thank you, everyone. We will be meeting tomorrow. Okay, at the same time, 7 a.m. Okay, thank you. All right, Kashmira.